America's #1 speakeasy, Saturday night at Mickie Finn's. You like that? Take a look. When you hear spring, what do you think of?
Bambi.
I mean, I'm a Vivaldi guy, but besides that, usually spring means we got one more good snow coming that nobody expects.
Take a look at that.
I'm so excited about this record.
Yeah, there's a lot of words.
There's a lot of font going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. I gotta practice my...
like an 8th grade's PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Whitman sampler of your Microsoft Office fonts, just thrown there right in a row. That is classic.
We have rambunctious and spontaneous fun, recorded live, featuring Fred E. Finn, Mickie Finn, the better-looking one of the Finn family. That's in the fine print there.
Fantastic.
Well, it would have to be. Yeah.
No asterisks.
Yeah, this could have been written. Maybe this is about Eric and I. I'm not sure. And the men of San Diego Hillcrest Philharmonic Association, including the Flying Dutchman, banjoist extraordinary, Dimples Bobby Jensen, exhibitionist and trumpet, Owen Leinhard, trombonist, Spider Murillo, percussionist, drums, etc.
Etc. You say? Hold on.
Yeah.
What? Man, it's got like a steel drum and a cowbell.
Yeah, percussion, drums, etc.
Etc.
Drums, etc.
You see, what you guys don't know is that Spider Murillo is the name I danced under in college. So you got to keep an eye out for that.
Well, that's funny you say that because mine was Stormy Gormley. Stormy Gormley, the cellist and hernia horn, tuba.
Is that a band joke? Are you making band jokes?
Mm-hmm.
It must be.
And introducing the Dapper Four, barbershop with giggles.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you. You put this record on, I have no idea what I'm coming for. I have no clue what to expect.
Oh, we haven't even
this
read.
Could be. You haven't even read the back. This could be anything from big band to gangster rap, as far as I'm concerned. I have no clue where we're coming from.
If that's a gangster rap record, I'm more excited than I've
Wouldn't
ever
that be amazing?
Let's do an over/under then on the year because I didn't see it on the front.
57.
68.
Drum roll.
66.
Oh,
just over.
Guess I have to
Just
drink.
over.
Well, that's the only year I can find on this thing, but on the back here, there's this kind of recreation of an inter-office memo, and it's dated December 13th, 66. To Andy Wickham from Jay Lasker, the inter-office memo of Dunhill, which I assume is the producer here. When you write the liner notes on the Mickie Finn album, please take note of the following facts, which Fred Finn asked me to have included. 1. That the recording was live on remote location at the club, and that there were no editing gimmicks. 2. That you hear a popping noise during the recording, and this should be explained that as each new keg of beer is opened, it makes that popping sound.
Okay, so this is a record from the boys.
Now I'm again could go a lot of different directions. Polka is now has come to play. So again, no idea where we're coming from.
The boys making a record. You know that sound is.
We're rolling out the barrel here.
3. That this is the first time you would hear on record the sound of 450 patrons cracking peanuts simultaneously, and it almost caused a near riot at the San Diego Zoo.
Yeah, eat it, Taylor Swift. Earthquake my foot.
This all reeks of, I mean, it's Coming to America 2 if you haven't seen Coming to America 1. Like, yeah, I think I kind of get what's happening, but there's a lot of inside jokes passing that are just not meant for me. That's okay.
There's definitely like a crowd gimmick there where you're like, all right, everybody, peanuts at the same time. We're going to set the world record. And it's like, that's good for the crowd, but like, you don't need to.
One time in 1966, 450 patrons cracking peanuts at the same time caused a riot at the San Diego Zoo. Sounds like one of our made-up baloney sort of.
We'll work that in future games. That's phenomenal.
4. That this group has had the longest run of any group and the highest attendance rate in the history of nightclubs in the U.S. 2 million people in 323 weeks, and they stopped counting the beer kegs that popped after the 10,000th keg of beer.
I bet he's texting other girls, and it's like, nope.
10,000!
Get your
I also-
peanuts,
I'm
boys.
starting
We're
to
going out on the town. See?
I'm starting to wonder why I've never heard any of these guys.
Well,
That's
what
kind
I'm
of the
blown
gist
away
of the whole
is
show.
it's the numbers and the scale. 2 million people in 323 weeks. 323 weeks is how you refer to an infant that hasn't grown up. Like, I'm not sure where that number comes from or that unit.
Excellent.
What is 323? That's like what, 6-ish years? Why are we doing this in weeks?
5, yeah, 5, 6-ish, something like that.
6.2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, bud.
The group has recently played the main room at Caesar's Palace and is booked throughout the month of January at the Coconut Grove. I'm sure you'll be able to put these classic tidbits into your copy. December 13th, 1966.
So that's to be clear, that's the memo.
That is sort of the inner
That's like,
office.
hey, make sure you include this in the liner notes. So this is the early version of that like phone call between Eminem and his producer, where they like talk about what to put on the record, and it's just like a voicemail answering machine on like a CD as like the skit between songs.
You don't get many of those anymore.
You don't get interlude. No, it's Spotify.
Personally, not a fan of the. We get some of that now. Someone's voicemail at the beginning of a song. Kanye did it a couple years back.
Yeah, but before the internet, that was the only way we had to sort of like this intimate relationship with the artist, sort of behind the scenes sort of thing.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
We wouldn't have these nuts jokes if it weren't for the interlude. You're gonna have to cut this out of the episode if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was The Chronic.
The other name for this show that we didn't go with was White Guys Talk About Records.
Yeah, no, that again, not being entirely sure that these nuts came from The Chronic would fit in very nicely.
Yeah, it dovetails well into our whole bit.
What kind of music do you like? Oh, a little bit of everything, rock and roll to country. Yeah, that's a wide
Little bit of
spectrum you got
everything,
there.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, there's more.
There's
more.
more.
Good, because it was a little bit light on text, so I was really hoping it would keep going.
Some reading glasses on. Here they are then. Mickie of the long blonde hair and Fred of the flying fingers. The marital and musical duo who brought beer and honky-tonk and a wild ensemble of strangely named musicians to a reconverted warehouse in San Diego. Put Tijuana out of business in a couple of months, spread their own band of music comedy throughout the land via a successful television series, moved into Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, and smashed an attendance record set by Andy Williams, who is usually very good at setting attendance records.
Now Andy Williams, I know. Now we've gotten to hanging up your sock, so I got
First-
something. I have
that was the first sentence and the first paragraph, all in one.
I was going to say, I like this sort of hipster energy that's associated with that. Like, well, you know, we got together, we play like the classics, but then like we wrote our own stuff, and we like took over this warehouse. It's an art space now, you know.
Yeah.
Very industrial.
Industrial. Yeah, it's an industrial record.
But we did mention the 8th grade like project, and what I love is that they said, and smashed an attendance record set by Andy Williams, who is usually very good at setting attendance records. I like that context that they're like, aha.
Yeah,
but no why. That's important.
Good Wikipedia energy.
Yeah.
No sources cited.
None.
Yep. It's also a run-on sentence, which is also great.
Oh, hey, there's the amount of
That's the bad
prepositional
part.
phrases in here is absurd. The next paragraph / sentence is much shorter. At the time of writing, they are wooing and wowing all kinds of people at Los Angeles's elaborate Coconut Grove, a large, majestic room in the Ambassador's Hotel, usually frequented by Hollywood royalty, and not an easy room to work in.
Like dark half the time, like just shit doesn't work. There's a tree that falls over constantly, and he has to work in. The worst room of all time. Like the carpet's moldy, somebody's sick and coughing in the back. The sound is hooked up to the bathroom. Worst room. Worst possible room.
Worst room to work in. There's a lot of weird energy around this of like Bayne credibility being like, hey, look, we're really good. We play really big venues. Let me tell you how important the venues are. It's like measuring your status against sort of like who you're dating, you know?
Yeah, both paragraphs have ended with, well, who is very good at setting records, attendance records. And then this sentence ends with, and it's not an easy room to work in,
Yeah,
just
some
so
one-upmanship.
Yep. Accompanied, of course, by their faithful companions, Don Van Palta, who plays banjo and is known to his friends as the Flying Dutchman, Spider Murillo, or perhaps Murillo? Spider Murillo.
I'm pretty sure that's the guitar player for Rage Against the Machine.
Right. Well, in this, he drums in the shadow of
Now
his
I'm
red
in.
derby hat. Red derby hat. I like that. Bobby Jensen, also known as Dimples, who plays left-handed trumpet, and their ever-present trombonist, Owen Linehard. Now, this is the group of people you want to get together to rob a bank, right? Yeah, we got Spider Murillo, see, and Stormy Gormley, Bobby Jensen. He's Dimples, of course. I love it.
This is the montage. This is the montage where you're like, all right, here's the plan. And then the heist music plays, and as somebody explains the plan unfolds on camera.
I knew Mickey Finn sounded familiar. I had to look it up. For a minute, I was like, "That's the name of a cocktail. It's like a Tom Collins, but it's named after Mickey Finn." And it turns out I'm half right.
Fantastic.
Nothing. Mickey Finn is in fact a cocktail, but it's one that has an incapacitating agent included. So we're talking about some of the original date night drugs, fellas. That tells us a little bit about the folks that we have writing this thing.
There have been some strange things happening on the pop charts lately. Winchester Cathedral was one of the biggest hits of 1966. An assortment of teenage jug bands are churning out hit records by the minute, and the word is humming around the industry that vaudeville is the coming thing.
Can we go back to teenage jug bands, please?
Yes, I would like to.
Because that could go in a number of directions, and one of them's moonshine, and the other.
An assortment of teenage jug bands are churning out hit records by the minute. Every minute. But in 1968 and 1969, when the jug bands of today are sitting back and waiting for the next trend, it is safe to say that Fred and Mickey and their illustrious entourage will still be garnering smiles, laughter, and stomping feet whenever they're playing. They'll make the Copa yet. I like the idea that the jug bands are sitting around waiting for the next big thing. That they're like, oh man, well, the industry's dried up, but you know, I've been reading Newsweek and the New York Times. Any minute now.
Mark, do you have any?
So I can just keep stealing focus from you and ruin the whole thing? That's what you're telling me? I got an hour worth of ruin in this thing.